right now, speaking to information and how it's powered. The USGS is having a briefing on Zoom. Let's go ahead and listen into that.
Up and one in the chat. So I just want to ask you to ask a question, and then we'll come back to you for more questions if you have one. But next up is Hannah Hagman. Name and affiliation.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm with the San Francisco Chronicle. I have a clarifying question. At the last press conference, which was super helpful, I asked a question about the earthquake that occurred near Cobb, California, which was initially estimated in the 5 to 6 range. And then Christine Gould mentioned that it was a much smaller event, and then it, quote, reassessed to a 2.5 magnitude. My colleague brought up that on the USGS site, I think that's still a higher number. So I just wanted to follow up. Is that accurate that it was reassessed at a 2.5 magnitude?
It was. I perhaps to refresh the page, but the number was adjusted to magnitude 2.5.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Could I ask one more question, Paul, or you want to come back to me?
A quick question.
Okay. Just Stephen, I was really interested in the science aspect you're talking about on how this earthquake occurred. Can you just also clarify? So it sounds like we understand this to be, there was right lateral motion on the fault, and there was more. Can you talk about the horizontal versus vertical and the difference in damage? I'm really interested in that.
Sure, and I'll just say this is a little bit preliminary. We do continue to do analyses on the data to make sure we know exactly how these faults move. But based on the history of how earthquakes in this area occur and our current understanding of the data, this is a fault that trends east to west offshore Northern California, just south of Eureka area. Petrolia is the nearest populated place, which is a little town just south of Eureka in the mountains. And there's two sort of different parts of the Pacific plate. So the oceanic crust underwater, and the plate to the north, the Gorda plate, is moving to the east underneath North America, and it's moving faster than the plate to the south. And so because of that, this difference in velocity is accommodated on this Mendocino fault. And in this case, it appears that the fault, the earthquake, was what we call right lateral. So the plate to the north moves farther to the right. If you're standing on the fault, that's what it would look like if you're down there on the floor of the ocean. And so, this is largely horizontal motion. And this is similar to the San Andreas fault, which is the most famous fault in California, has earthquakes, and those largely have horizontal motion. So they generate a lot of shaking, but it's not like one piece of land goes way up higher than the other. And there are other faults, for example, the Cascadia subduction zone to the north. That's the long fault that traces offshore the entire distance up into offshore Canada. And that one tends to have a lot of vertical motion because it's actually one plate diving under another. So in this case, two plates sliding back against one another, and largely horizontal motion. And so that is less likely to lift up the water and create a tsunami than if the ground actually moved vertically quite a bit.
Yeah, imagine taking a cup of water and a knife and sort of slicing through the cup of water, and nothing really moves. The knife just sort of goes through, and that the water's moved really.
Yep.
Great, thank you for that analogy and that explanation. Next up is Monica Woods. Affiliation, please.
Hi there, Monica Woods, ABC 10 in Sacramento. Thanks again for doing this follow-up presser. I want to put into context and perspective, perhaps, that this was an offshore earthquake 7.0. A lot of people reaching out to us that they were in the 1989 San Francisco one, which was smaller. So what are the similarities and the differences in an offshore earthquake or a landmass earthquake?
So the things that really affect how much shaking people feel is how far they are from where the earthquake is generated and how deep that earthquake is in the crust. So in this case, the earthquake is not particularly deep. We're still working on a good estimate, but it's on the order of, 10 to 20 kilometers deep, but it's fairly far offshore. So if the earthquake happens farther away, there's less shaking. And in the case of the 1989 earthquake, it occurred underneath the Santa Cruz Mountains in the Bay Area, and the shaking radiated under a lot of urban areas And a lot of the damage was due to things like weak soils and liquefaction. And so this, because it's farther offshore, farther from populated places, we just don't anticipate the sort of humanitarian effects that we see from these earthquakes that occur under the land.
Great, thank you, Steve. Next up, Tara.
Hi there, it's Tara Duggan from the San Francisco Chronicle, another Chronicle person. I appreciate it. Just wanted to get a little more information about the tsunami warning and why it was, first announced and then changed. It sounds like you kind of addressed that a little bit with the science earlier, but could you go into that a little more in detail?
I think it's important to emphasize that NOAA is the agency that handles the tsunami warning. So we're not really privy to that system. We see that as they are issued. But certainly an earthquake that's this energetic offshore underwater is something that is going to be a cause for concern for tsunamis. And it's possible that some of the initial estimates of motion made it look like there was a possibility of a tsunami. And once those were refined, the chances of a tsunami actually went down. And so that's a little bit speculative, but that's our current understanding of things. And that could be updated as we continue to look at these data.
Okay, thank you. So you don't think it had perhaps anything to do with the type of earthquake it might have been, or which fault it was exactly coming from?
Yeah, we try to agencies, and we, like I said, NOAA is a different agency than USGS. They try to react quickly and send out warnings based on the best available information at that time. And so the initial information to them obviously looked like there was a probability of a tsunami that was high enough to issue a warning, and that was refined later as more information came in. So this is how these systems work sometimes.
Okay, thanks so much.
Great, thank you. Cron TV, you're on. Okay, we're not hearing you. I saw your mic came undone, but I'm not hearing you yet. Okay, you might want to check the mic settings in. I'm going to go ahead and move to Ravenna right now, Cron, but check your mic settings in the settings box there. Ravenna, and affiliation, please.
Yeah, hi, Ravenna Koenig, NPR. I joined about 2 minutes late, so apologies if you answered this, but you had said that, in places there was intensity 8, there could be slight damage to well-designed structures, common structures receiving considerable damage. How widespread would you expect those impacts to be, and where, would you expect to see them?
Well, Steve, you want to take that question? Or is that,
go ahead, Bob.
Okay. So yeah, so one thing that we know is think of an earthquake as like dropping a rock into a lake and you have the waves sort of moving away. And typically we see the highest levels of shaking closest to the epicenter of that earthquake. Of course, the epicenter of this event was off the coast, like 40 miles off the coast of California. So we see by observation on the event page as well, the heaviest levels of shaking, the intensity 8, where you're getting damage to structures closest to basically the coastline. So you're talking Eureka, Arcata, sort of those cities that are sitting, Humboldt Bay region, where people are right along the coast. And of course, the intensities decrease the farther you get away from that event. And there are some exceptions to that. And Steve was mentioning this earlier. In the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, even though it occurred in the Santa Cruz Mountains, we still saw some really intense shaking in places like West Oakland, especially the freeway, the Cypress structure that collapsed, and also in the Marina District. There are sort of site conditions, loose soils, that actually make seismic waves slow down and get bigger when they hit those softer soils. So you see some of those differences, but generally what you can say, and on the event page, you can see the highest levels of shaking that are closest to where the epicenter of the earthquake is off the coast.
The one nuance I would add to that is in this area, Eureka is the main population center. That's going to be that, and some towns around that. And some of those towns sit on, the Eel River has a fairly large delta. There's some marshy sediments. There are some loose sediments. So the effects of what actually a structure is sitting on top of in terms of the soil conditions can be very important. So when we see an event like this, the first thing we think about are those people in low-lying areas, maybe on river or coastal sediments, that sort of thing, and places that are up on hard bedrock are going to be less affected. But again, it's pretty early for us to really have a good comment on the damage that occurred up there.
Thanks, Steve. That's great.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. Okay, Kron, looks like you guys fixed your mic. You want to try again? We're not hearing you. Sometimes if you're wearing a headset, take it on, or maybe put the headset on if you're using that. Okay, we're still just not hearing you yet. I'm going to go ahead and Ravenna, I'm going to assume that your hand is a legacy. So let's go ahead and move to Amy Isaacs, but Ravenna, take your hand down if, or leave it up if you are indeed still up. Okay, Amy. Okay, all right, we'll just go ahead. Let's go ahead to Elise Cox. Hannah will come to you in a second. Elise Cox.
Yeah, hi, it's Elise Cox, and I had 2 questions in the chat, but I was also curious about the relationship of this quake or quakes, which I'm asking you to clarify, to the the big one that's expected off of Point Mendocino. Sorry, does that make sense to you guys? There's a.
I didn't totally catch that. Did you catch that enough, Bob?
Yeah, did you hear me at all? Are you able to hear me at all? There might be some.
Yeah, we can
hear you. Maybe restate the question.
Yes, please.
Okay, so first of all, was it one quake or 2?
There was one large quake. This magnitude 7.0 was the large quake, and that was far larger than any of the aftershocks that we've seen so far. Most of the aftershocks, I haven't looked at the latest, but are no greater than 4.3-ish, something like that. So one large 7.0 followed by some much smaller aftershocks.
Okay, I did see that it had been measured as 7.3 by some of the equipment.
It is possible there was an early estimate of 7.3 as more data has come in. It's been refined to 7.0, and one of our seismologists made a comment recently that they expect the magnitude to hold at magnitude 7.0.
Okay, and how does this compare with other large quakes in the past?
You want to take that one?
Well, in the case of earthquakes in this particular region, I mean, in the last 5 years, we've seen events upward of magnitude 6, so magnitude 6.4 back in 2022. So these events these events do occur in this region. We know this is a very active region. So not that we would like to say that this is something that happens all the time. Magnitude 7 events don't happen all the time. But this area certainly can expect earthquakes this size because this is where they happen to be located in sort of the tectonic environment that they're in. And so this region is not any stranger to earthquakes that are magnitude 6 and larger.
I think when I joined, you said that this was 8 times greater than.
Into the scientists with USGS briefing us on that magnitude 7 earthquake and the impacts and aftershocks. This science story, a people story, as we continue to watch the aftershocks roll in and the response from people.